back to It's Chow Time Pod. It's your host, Red. I got a video today, another one from Lauren Chen. Everybody seemed to like the last one from her. This one is actually about other women shitting on stay-at-home girlfriends. And in my opinion, it's quite a bit of jealousy to it, but we'll get to it. I actually haven't watched this video also, so this is pretty raw reactions for me. So please like and subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate that. And let's get to the chow. It's chow time, guys.
Hey, Lauren here. Let's talk about the women who are living their best lives at stay-at-home girlfriends and the feminists out there who are predictably just very, very upset with it. So this actually isn't the first video I've done on stay-at-home girlfriends. A while ago, I did a video responding to Anna Kasparian's take on the whole trend. And surprisingly, Anna wasn't as against the concept of a stay-at-home girlfriend as some of the women we're going to be looking at today are. But in case you're not familiar with it, on TikTok, there is this entire genre of video and really entire accounts where the stay-at-home girlfriends pretty much just document whatever they do in the day. And essentially these women, they tend to make a lot of smoothies and lattes and spend their time doing things like going to the gym and Pilates classes and
keeping in shape for their man.
Beauty appointments.
And then I love to open all the blinds in the house and get all the sunlight I can and make the bed, of course, to keep the house tidy and looking its best. And then I did all the dishes, a couple from last night and from this morning. And then I made Luke some breakfast.
Damn, look how clean her house is.
He's been loving this French toast lately. Then I came home and did another load of laundry.
Day in the life of a stay-at-home girlfriend. It's the weekend and I'm meeting up with one of my girlfriends at Hotel Sky. The next day we went for a picnic. It was a picnic day for Bay and I. Started doing our little dessert, a little board, and look, I ate a lot. By the time it was time for us to just picnic, I was already
Look at these women. Look like they're having the fucking time of their lives.
full. But anyway, this is how my masterpiece turned out. So I made a little dessert board and then I made a little, what do you call this, a cheese board, I guess. I didn't know what to do with that ham. You can just see that ham is just hanging on the side. Anyway, the idea
right,
was
girl.
to
It
just
still
cuddle
looks
and just
good.
bond as a couple.
Welcome to a day in my life. I woke up this morning wanting nothing more but a hot, steamy shower, and look at how cute my Christmas
See, man, there's still good women out there. So, are they rare as fuck? God damn, it is, yeah.
tree in my bathroom is. And I went to Whole Foods to grab some dinner because Vic is coming home tonight. And you guys know I always like to surprise him with dinner. And here is the guest bedroom that I have been redoing and getting ready for my parents. Look at how freaking cute it turned out. And I got the bathroom all ready for them too. I always like the guest bathroom to feel like an experience with rolled up towels and, you know, just fully stocked. So whenever someone comes to stay with us, they feel very welcomed and just at home. Then I came to pick Vic up from the airport and I accidentally ran over one of these cones when I was picking him up, and that's our night.
So essentially these women are homemakers, but instead of traditional homemakers who are usually married to the people who provide for them, these girls are instead just girlfriends. And you know what? As someone who actually enjoys doing things like cooking and homemaking, not cleaning though, I don't like that. The idea of just being able to stay home full time to dedicate yourself to that does sound fun to me. That sounds appealing. So if these women are able to financially make it work, then I would say good on them. That at least is my take on it. And I would love to know what you guys think of this trend, because it turns out that feminists.
My take is, and actually I think it's pretty cool. This is how I actually started my first my first major relationship was a stay-at-home girlfriend. I took care of everything. She just stayed at home and did this. I probably chose the wrong girl at that time. She didn't really cook or clean too much and didn't really do much of the house chores. So my fault for picking bad, but I don't think anything is wrong with it. I think I can see why women see it as a bad thing, because now you don't have income. You're fully dependent on the man. So I can get why a lot of women would clap back at it.
It's not really surprising anyone. They're just very mad that this is happening, that these women are daring to fulfill traditionally feminine roles and have a good time doing it. So we're going to be taking a look at some of the women who are mad online about this. But first, I do want to say a big thank you to today's sponsor. Like I was saying, these day in the life of a stay-at-home girlfriend videos, they're very popular on TikTok. Some of these videos have literally millions of views. But what are getting equally as popular are the responses to these videos by essentially different women, different feminists. It's hardly ever men criticizing this. Yeah, they're just like hordes
We have no reason to criticize
of
this.
angry feminists who seem to be essentially personally offended that these women get to stay home and make smoothie bowls all day. I'm just kidding, by the way. It does seem like at least most of these women do a lot more than just make smoothie bowls. I mean, essentially they have to cook and clean and just, housekeep, which yes, does take time and I think is a worthwhile contribution to
I agree.
the household. I mean,
I do agree that keeping the house clean, keeping the house a home actually really matters to me. So
most of these women are actually girlfriends rather than wives, and so not really many of them have kids, but I also foresee that should these women get married to the men who are providing for them, likely in the future their duties will also include taking care of the kids, which, yeah, is just even more work. So anyway, the people who make fun of these women for not doing anything all day, I mean, I think it is kind of a stretch to say these women aren't doing anything because, I mean, at the very least, they are being influencers, which I thought Gen Z loved. Anyway,
Right?
going through
I mean,
some of
they're
the
getting
criticisms
millions of
these women
views.
get, I thought we would start off with one that I actually see some merit in.
We have to talk about the stay-at-home girlfriend trend on TikTok. It may look really glamorous, but it is actually really dangerous. This trend is where one partner in a relationship with no children stays home and their job is to look after the partner that goes to work. This is really dangerous because it means that the person who stays home is very likely to have zero financial independence.
Yeah, this
Having
is what I
zero
was talking about
financial
earlier.
independence in a relationship is one of the key contributors to financial abuse. If you don't have financial independence, it means that if you are in an abusive relationship or a relationship where you are not happy, it is very hard for you to leave because you don't have any money. We need money to be able to live. The number of homeless women in Australia is
Did you hear that? They need money to leave. That's the first thing she thinks about is leaving. And if you do leave, you need money. How about just stick with your family and build a solid family?
increasing every year. One of the key contributors to this is because women are staying home, they aren't able to build up the skills to be able to get a job, get education, build up their career. They don't get super. So then when the relationship does break down, they don't have anything to support them. Education and building up skills is power, and don't forget how important it is.
Okay, so despite my little opening monologue there, I don't think this woman is speaking out simply because she's an angry feminist or because she's jealous. This is actually a pretty valid point, and it's something that Anna Kasparian, back when she was addressing the whole stay-at-home girlfriend trend, she also brought up. Financial independence. Okay, what are these women supposed to do if they break up with the man who's providing for them? They don't really have any skills or work history, so how are they supposed to support themselves? They could find themselves in a position where they are essentially staying with someone they don't want to be with, or who might even be abusing with them simply because of financial necessity. So I do understand where these women are coming from, and it's also one of the reasons why, for any stay-at-home girlfriends out there, I would advise you, honey, he's got to put a ring on it. Don't treat him like a husband if you're not actually his wife, okay? You staying at home, not working, some people might think it's a privilege, but you're...
I disagree with what she just said right there. How would I know if she's going to be a good wife or not if she doesn't start doing wifey duties for me? Like, from girlfriend to wife is actually a huge jump. I don't think most women understand the difference in duties. So to actually see a woman do wifey duties for you before you wife her up, it's like her showing you, this is what you're going to get when you wife me up. So I slightly disagree with that.
Also putting yourself, like, I mean, these women are saying, in a financially vulnerable situation, okay? Don't do that unless this man that you're with is willing to commit to you. And then, of course, some feminists might say, well, even if they're married, sure, there's a stronger commitment there, but ultimately the woman, if she's not working, she's still in a more vulnerable situation. And to that, I've got to say, relationships sometimes require vulnerability. I don't want to live in a society or have relationships where everybody is perfectly atomized, like just their own self-sustaining little unit. I mean, that kind of defeats the purpose of community and family and relationships in some way. We are meant to depend on each other for different things. And I know that things like divorce and hookup culture and just the destruction of the family in general, people are no longer really willing to invest or trust in relationships like they used to. But still, in some ways, expecting that, you know, your relationships are all just going to fail, you may just be working against yourself, especially if you're a woman and you're so concerned about being financially independent that you invest all this time in a career, but you actually want to be a homemaker, but you're so afraid of what these feminists are telling you about not being dependent on a man that you spend all of your time working instead of actually looking to start a family. It's just like, I really do understand this concern. I'm not trying to dismiss it entirely, but at the same time, family requires vulnerability. Relationships require vulnerability. I agree. It's probably a bad idea, even as a woman who wants to be a homemaker, to have like zero education. You didn't even finish high school. You've never worked a regular job in your life. That's probably not good. Just as, I think education is important, and high school really isn't that long anyway. Yeah, I mean, one breadwinner per family is historically how things were done. Some might say, oh, and women were abused more then. It's like, yeah, well, women were also less depressed then. So I don't know what to tell you. Continuing on the anti-stay-at-home girlfriend train, there are also several videos out there that are essentially just parodying or mocking the genre and the women who post these day in my life videos. Like this one that went pretty viral, which essentially compares stay-at-home girlfriends to captives.
Morning in my life as a 25-year-old stay-at-home girlfriend. Then I'll usually check to make sure that Rodney did indeed lock the door. It locks from the outside, and sometimes I think maybe he'll forget. Then it's time for breakfast. Every day, Rodney leaves me a plastic cup full of water, some protein powder, and a little white pill. Some days I'll take the pill, some days I won't. Today I decided to take it. While I'm in the kitchen, I'll double check to make sure that Rodney remembered to lock the kitchen window. He always does. Then I'll practice the conversation I'd have with my mom if I were to see her again. Finally, for the next few hours, or maybe minutes, I have no way of keeping time.
I'm not gonna lie. That is not exactly an unfunny TikTok, especially considering some of the TikToks out there. But still, clearly the joke here is that at least some of these women who are doing these stay-at-home girlfriend videos, it's that they don't have freedom. They're subservient to a man. To the freedom aspect, I don't know. These women seem to be having a great time. It seems like they do pretty much whatever they want. I think they might argue that they have a lot more freedom than someone who is working a 9-to-5 job that they hate. And regarding the subservience aspect, look, obviously no one wants to be promoting a toxic relationship or an abusive relationship, but that doesn't seem like what's going on with most of these stay-at-home girlfriend videos. Like, there is a difference between one person being more dominant in the relationship and being the breadwinner in the relationship, and a girlfriend, just staying at home and doing traditionally feminine tasks, versus being an actual kidnap victim. And I do feel like there's a little bit of cope here with videos like this, trying to make it seem like these women have it so bad, when really I think there's jealousy here. I think a lot of the women who don't like the stay-at-home girlfriend.
I agree. My ex moved in with me pretty early as a stay-at-home girlfriend, and I took care of everything. Most of her friends viewed her and my relationship and her relationship as like the pedestal relationship. All of them were like, oh my God, he takes care of you. He does all of this for you. You don't even have to worry about that. You don't have to work, So
videos, they would love to be able to maybe sleep in and just stay at home cooking, because a lot of women do like cooking and go to beauty appointments and plan vacations and parties and dinners instead of dedicate themselves to jobs which may not be fulfilling. And that brings us, of course, to the feminists who bring race into this, because intersectionality. And if you guys will remember, when we showed some of the different videos of stay-at-home girlfriends, there were actually some girlfriends who were not white. There was a Black woman who was living this lifestyle, and a Latina woman as well. And this isn't me like trying to make this group of women seem more diverse than they actually are. I literally just went to TikTok, typed stay-at-home girlfriends, and these are the most popular videos that come up. So as far as I can tell, no, this isn't a strictly white phenomenon. But in any case, according to these intersectional feminists, the whole stay-at-home girlfriend trend, it's not just harmful because it's anti-feminist, but apparently it also furthers white privilege or demonstrates white privilege.
I do not think it's a coincidence that the majority of people posting about their stay-at-home girlfriend routine are white. And I think it's
funny that they bring race in again, like just like the last video we watched with Pearl and Vice. Like the race, the marginalized race thing always seems to be a thing.
It's another example of how white women, including myself, have always...
And it's funny because it's always white women that are saying these things.
Always had the option of like opting out when things get too hard. I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you have the ability to just say, screw it, I'm not going to contribute anything to my community or have any responsibility toward creating social change. Instead, I'm actually just going to make drinks all day and do face masks and eat goji berries, is a direct byproduct of whiteness and white supremacy. And before you come at me and say, no, that's not true, like people can do what they want. Yeah, they can do what they want. Please don't attack random girls that are doing Pilates and making smoothies. It's not really the point, especially if the logical conclusion to your argument is that everyone should have a job. That's not a hill I want to die on. Rather, I'm saying, look at who can afford to not have one. If anyone has seen that scene in White Lotus where the rich lady is like, I don't vote, like it's just like too... That's what I'm talking about. Not to mention the anti-Semitic undertones of the trad wife craze that's come into the foray, which I think is related to this. So much more to say.
So there's a lot to unpack there, and it
Yeah.
was only a 59-second video. Number one, it's interesting that this woman doesn't want to hate too hard on these women for not having jobs because, let's face it, she's probably a communist and she would love it if nobody had jobs. But still, she sees these women who are living their best lives, being very traditionally feminine, and she's still upset about it, so she needs to justify why she's upset,
Yeah.
and so she plays the race card. Like I said, there are non-white women who are living the stay-at-home girlfriend trend, but according to this young woman, it's actually white privilege because I guess white people are going to be more likely than non-white people to be able to afford to just stay home. And I just feel like feminists are in the position where they are constantly talking in circles and contradicting themselves.
Yes,
Globally,
they
especially when
are.
you look at developing countries, women actually being a part of the workforce, it doesn't happen all that much. And trying to get women out of the homes and into the workforce is something that feminists see as a good thing. And there are all these different initiatives from the UN to get more women out of the home into the workforce because that's a symbol of empowerment. But now,
Right.
since some women in the West are choosing to voluntarily remove themselves from the workforce, now these feminists say that it's because of privilege and they're white, even though once more, globally, tons of non-white women are not in the workforce. We can debate whether that's even a choice of theirs. I would say that, yeah, there are a lot of cultures where even if the woman had the choice, they still wouldn't want to go to the workforce. But anyway, just trying to make this about race is so convoluted, and it's literally this woman looking for something to be upset about. And even though she doesn't want to hate on these women for not having jobs because she's a communist, she doesn't like jobs, she still accuses them of not contributing to their communities or taking part of social change, as if everybody has to be.
Yeah, that's the thing that nowadays all the youngins, it's the social change. You got to do something. Everybody has to do something. Everybody has to be aware of what's going on. It's complete bullshit. Like, what can you really fucking do other than post on your social media Black Lives Matter or whatever flag you're gonna put for whatever country of whatever happened at that time? Like, what do you really do? So you know about these things and you like you fight for it amongst your peers or whatever. It doesn't really change anything, like socially. Like, we all know about climate change, still has not much been done for it, but it's the biggest topic.
An activist. Again, I guess in this woman's mind, they do. It just frustrates me because odds are these women spend a lot more time engaging with their communities.
I do
than
agree
this woman.
too. I mean, being stay at home, you can go volunteer, you can do all those things. If I had a stay at home wife, I wouldn't mind for her to just go volunteer for like 4 hours of the day doing whatever, and then be coming home and taking care of everything. Like, that's perfectly fine. Most men aren't saying most men don't want stay at home wives just to be locked up in the house. They can do whatever they want. We're just at work. We just hope that everything is done for us and complete when we get home and don't get nagged.
Woman who is probably drowning in work. If a woman says she wants to be a chef or a party planner or a community organizer, feminists are all for it. But if a woman says she wants to just kind of do that for the people in her immediate life, and, just live off of her partner's income while doing so, all of a sudden now she's a drain on communities and not contributing anything. It just
So yeah, I agree with her. I think it's the opposite. When you build your family and you work on your family, you're actually building the community because you're building more stable, solid families and building more stable, solid people. So as these kids grow up with a solid family that's been raised by their moms and their fathers, they're more solid contributions to society than they would be if they weren't. If you just did whatever.
it doesn't make sense. And also, Tradwise being anti-Semitic, she's really just gonna sprinkle that in there and then just peace out, not giving any evidence. Okay, I guess I'll just refute that with no evidence too then. Next up though, I saved the best for last. We have an even bigger race grifter.
One, I went to school growing up with a lot of white women, so I know about this. I went to an HBCU. And three, I'm now a stay-at-home working mom, so I feel like I have a lot of insight. First things first, I think that white women are taught how to date very differently than Black women, right? And even the white community. I knew so many girls who knew that they were going to marry their high school boyfriend, ended up really marrying their high school boyfriend, and then became stay-at-home moms very early in their life. And that was just the expectation, and they were just taught that. Whereas my Black friends, we were taught to go get educated, doubly educated if we could, go get a great job, make ourselves whole and worthy almost.
I actually do agree with this, that Black women are trained more to be independent.
Enough to be marryable and then marry somebody who had done the same thing so that we could become a power couple. In our community, at no fault of our own, it's been the expectation that we're supposed to go out and work and toil and labor because that's the only way that we can survive.
So according to this lady, the reason why you don't see as many Black stay-at-home girlfriends is actually because Black women are just out there becoming more educated, looking to marry a man who is equally as successful and educated as they are. Yeah, that's actually what her argument is. I'm going to be diplomatic and just say that actually, based off of socioeconomic trends, that's probably not what is happening at large in the Black community among Black women. And more likely, the reason why you don't see maybe as many Black stay-at-home girlfriends is because there is a racial wealth difference and people tend to date within their race. And in this day and age, it is harder to support two people on a single income. Not to mention the fact that if you are a stay-at-home girlfriend, it probably speaks to the fact that this is a long-term monogamous relationship, likely one that will lead to marriage. And that's just not as common in the Black community. No, not because of slavery. Anyway, those are just my thoughts on this issue. As always, I would love to know what you guys think. Do you think this is damaging? Do you think this is anti-feminist? And if
she's a little bit harsh on it. I think what that woman said is actually quite reasonable, because women in the Asian community are trained to be housewives. Like, that's what they were trained to do. They weren't really trained to, be strong and independent in a sense. So they were like, oh, this is what you do for your man. Yeah, you can go to college, you do your thing, but these are important things that you should be doing and be focusing on. So I do agree that does have an effect on the people itself.
If you're a woman, would you be a stay-at-home girlfriend? If you're a man and you were able to support that lifestyle, would you have a stay-at-home girlfriend?
Yes.
Let me know down below. That's it for now, though. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.
How was that, Chow? Definitely a different topic. Stay-at-home girlfriends. We talk about wives here and there, but we don't really talk about stay-at-home girlfriends. This is without the contract, so I don't think it's a bad thing for men, unless you're in California, where if you're with the person for 10 years, you're technically legally married now, which defeats the purpose of this in some men's eyes, I think. So if you can find someone that's willing to do this, I think it's not a bad thing at all. If you are well enough to be able to take care of two people, you're solid. If you're not, then fucking work on it. That's all I gotta say. Just work on it, man. This is the kind of life you want to provide for your girlfriend or your wife or your future partner. You really need to work on it. You really do. It's not just I can have a normal job and do these things. You need to do a little bit better than normal. You need to be above average. And it's not hard to be above average. All right, guys. Please like and subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate that. And I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao time.